welcome back. You're still watching World Insight with me, Tianwei. The program is coming to you Monday to Friday on CGTN. Let's turn to the brewing trade war between the two world's largest economies. Amid the gloomy atmosphere and the rise of protectionism, Chinese telecom giant Huawei has become a target of the U.S. government over so-called national security concerns. Earlier, at Huawei's Shenzhen headquarters, I hosted a special discussion of three thinkers: Ren Zhengfei, Huawei founder and CEO; George Gilder, American tech guru and futurist; and Negroponte, a tech visionary and co-founder of the MIT Media Lab. The three discussed the issues ranging from how Huawei will deal with the U.S. trade ban to security concerns about Huawei's 5G network. They also shared insights on how society will look like in the age of artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. Minds without borders. Let's listen in.
At any rate, but we agree that he would reconsider Huawei if we can make a trade deal. So clearly it's not about national.
It's the United States that really will suffer from any effort to decouple.
华为是不会有任何的后门。
少量问题的挫折，我们也不能恨一个美国。
For the very first time.
谢谢。
Hello and welcome to A Coffee with Ren. I'm Tianwei. They say a good conversation could be just like drinking a cup of black coffee, as stimulating and probably as hard. Well, I'm not sure whether today's conversation is going to be a really difficult one, but certainly stimulating intellectually and thought-provoking. If you take a look at the panelists on the stage, they are trailblazers in their respective fields and certainly very outspoken about the challenges that we are facing today. First up, A Coffee with Ren, so let's start with Ren. Ren 先生, so you can't go to the U.S. anymore, that's why you bring all your friends to China for coffee?
尼古拉斯先生呢是乔布斯的老师。
Professor Negroponte was a teacher of Steve Jobs, and his son was once Jobs' roommate. That means by becoming his student today, I am becoming one of Jobs' peers. I feel very honored.
我感到无上的光荣。
That's it? What about George? 那 George 呢？
多尔斯呢，他给那个我们黄老师写了一本书，写了序言。
For Mr. Gilder, he wrote the preface for Built on Value, a book by Professor Huang Weiwei. The preface is excellent, and I greatly admire him.
我非常崇拜他。
Okay, but I want to turn the table to both of you here. Aren't you being afraid of being politically incorrect? Coming to China and sitting here in the sitting room of Huawei, well knowing what's going on between U.S. and China?
No, I think that I can contribute to saving the United States in this from a terrible mistake that it's currently making, epitomized by their stupid bans and tariffs and restrictions on Huawei. But also, I can contribute to reconstruction of internet architecture to address the terrible security collapse across the internet that makes everybody paranoid and nobody trusts anybody else. And it's really a technical problem that Huawei can address, not a political problem.
Are we facing a technical problem or a political problem, Nicholas?
I am more of the feeling that we're facing a cultural problem. I was on the Motorola board of directors for 15 years. One of the first joint ventures you did was probably with Motorola. I suspect it was. And my interest is open information, open science. I come from a world where what we value isn't so much trade and commerce and stock values. We value knowledge, and we want to build on the people before. And the only way this works is if people are open at the beginning, and we can all build on each other. And that's, to me, the priority. There are other issues, and I'm not denying them, but that's the one I'm focused on. How does the world collaborate? It's not a competitive world in the early stages of science. It benefits from collaboration.
Ren 先生，有人说
Mr. Ren, someone says it is a technical issue and some believe it's a cultural issue. Then what do you think? What kind of issue are we facing here?
我觉得人类社会的最主要的目的是要创造财富，使更多的人来摆脱贫穷。那社会呢，一定是要是合作共赢的。
I think the most important goal for our society is to create wealth so that more people can be lifted out of poverty. Social progress requires collaboration for shared success. It's simply impossible for individual countries to develop on their own in the information world. In the industrial era, transportation problems led to geopolitics and geoeconomics, so a country could manufacture sewing machines and tractors entirely on its own. But in the information era, it's impossible for a country to single-handedly make anything. That's why open collaboration worldwide is a must. Only through open collaboration can we meet people's demands and bring the benefits of new technologies to more people at lower costs.
让更多人享受到新的技术带来的这个福祉。我认为人类社会还是要走向一种共同的合作发展，才是一条真正的道路。
I believe collaboration is the only way to make social progress. Economic globalization was first proposed in the West. We believe it is a great concept. There definitely have been and will be ups and downs during the process of economic globalization, and we need to take the right approaches to these ups and downs. That means we need to use laws and rules to reconcile and resolve issues instead of imposing extreme restrictions.
而不是采取一种极端的方法。人类的文明呢，往往是科学家有了发现。
The progress of human civilization is built upon the discoveries and innovations of scientists, the leadership and facilitation of politicians, the products and markets of entrepreneurs, and the joint efforts of all people. That's how we create new wealth. During the Dark Ages, famine was prevalent in Europe. About 40 to 50 years ago, China was very poor, and people suffered from hunger. But now we have an abundance of food. Why is that? It's not because the natural environment has changed much since then. It is the result of advances in science and technology.
就是科学技术的进步，给人类带来了新的幸福。
I think, Mr. Ren, you sound very philosophical. I'm going to ask you a very concrete question. That is, what are you going to do with those American companies who do not provide Huawei anymore, components and parts, despite of the fact you had contracts before?
第一点呢，这个美国公司他们是富有道德良心的。
All of the U.S. companies that we work with are great companies that hold themselves to high standards in terms of business integrity and ethics. Huawei's development over the past 30 years can be attributed in large part to the support and help we have received from leading companies around the world. The current setbacks we are facing are not caused by those American companies, but by politicians who see things differently from the way we see them. We predicted long ago that we would encounter market competition issues and conflicts when our growth is fast, but we never imagined that the U.S. government would be so committed to attacking Huawei within such a broad scope. The U.S. government is banning U.S. companies from supplying components to us. They are also restricting our participation in international organizations and our cooperation with universities. That said, these restrictions will not stop Huawei from forging ahead. We did not expect that the U.S. government would launch such precise strikes against us, with each strike hitting our vital parts. We did not expect such extreme measures, but we did make some preparations. We are like a bullet-riddled aircraft during World War II. We are prepared to protect our core components only, like our fuel tank. We did not prepare to protect non-core components. In the coming years, our production capacity may decrease, and our sales revenue will be about $30 billion lower than forecasted. In 2019 and next year, our annual sales revenue will be about $100 billion, but maybe in 2021, we will regain our growth momentum and provide even better services to society. In the next 2 years, we are going to switch from many old product versions to new ones. In such a massive switchover, it will take time to test whether things work properly, so a moderate decline is understandable. But when this step is finished, we'll become stronger. When we were not as strong as in the past, we were determined to work more closely with U.S. companies. As we become stronger, we will work even more closely with them. Companies that are not as strong as Huawei might be very cautious when it comes to using U.S. components or U.S. elements. This will hurt the U.S. economy in one way or another, but Huawei will not hurt very much. We are already strong, and we can withstand whatever is thrown at us.
因为我们已经很坚强了，我们是打不死的鸟，对不对？
是吧？
At any rate, but we agree on
我已经审判，你怎么就判决了呢？
that he would reconsider Huawei if we can make a trade deal. So clearly it's not about national.
It's the United States that really will suffer from any effort to decouple.
华为是不会有任何的后门。
少量问题的挫折，我们也不能恨一个美国。
For the very first time.
谢谢。
Talking about basis of knowledge, I really need to ask Mr. Ren, because right now, Huawei's collaboration with quite a number of American universities and labs have been halted. And that is not going to contribute to the open science as we speak. But to Mr. Ren, though, it's also going to have a big impact on where Huawei could be in terms of your capacity for science and technology.
人类的这个社会的创造呢，就分成理论的创造、工程的创造和市场需求的创造。
Inventions can be divided into theoretical inventions, engineering inventions, and inventions driven by market demand. China is very strong in engineering inventions, but weak when it comes to theoretical research. We have to diligently learn from the West in this regard. The West took several hundred years to invent theories like calculus. They have contributed greatly to advancing basic theories.
我认为这一点来说，西方做出了很大贡献。华为公司虽然每年投入巨额的基金，
Huawei invests heavily in R&D. We have more than 80,000 engineers. Despite that, we have not made any great inventions. Mobile communications were not invented by Huawei, nor were fiber communications, IP transmission, mobile internet, airplanes, cars, or horse-drawn carriages. When it comes to inventions, we make little contribution to humanity. We have focused on improving engineering capabilities. We are now supporting more than 300 universities and 900 research institutes around the world. In doing so, we hope that we can contribute to theoretical innovation. We will not cut our investment in this area just because of the attacks on Huawei. We will work harder. Even if the U.S. government does not allow some universities to work with us, there are many others who are willing to do so. It is understandable that a few universities are having concerns about working with us. It is just short-term because they don't know much about us. We welcome more U.S. politicians to come and visit Huawei themselves. Some of them may think we still live in grass huts and have long ponytails. If they come and look at Huawei's pace of innovation, they will believe that it is worthwhile to make friends with us and that we can be trusted.
他会觉得我们应该也是好朋友，应该是可以是可信的。
To you, Mr. Gilder, talking about security earlier, Mr. Ren has mentioned about that. So there are a lot of questions whether Huawei has backdoors. But to you, whose security is it? Who will guarantee the security? Who are the ones to judge whether one system or another system has security or not?
Well, the question is an objective question, whether a specific telecom system can be tested, whether it is open. There are lots of technical remedies for the kinds of distrust that arises around this catastrophically insecure internet architecture that we find ourselves using today. Just as we have a catastrophically broken monetary system, we got which causes trade wars. We also have a catastrophically broken internet security system. And I think Huawei can contribute. Among all the companies in the world, Huawei is probably best situated to solve both these problems, or to pursue both that single opportunity.
Is Mr. Gilder having too much hope for Huawei? Is he being too optimistic or pessimistic?
Well, I hope he's correct. And there's some evidence that he may be, because our president has already said publicly that he would reconsider Huawei if we can make a trade deal. So clearly it's not about national security. We don't trade national security. So it's about something else. And this trade war has got to end. And that, I believe, will end sooner rather than later. Crossing my fingers.
So we have 1 minute left, 1 minute only. Everybody, one sentence only, the biggest takeaway with the coffee with Ren today.
We mentioned that Huawei has no backdoors and our products are open, transparent, and trustworthy. But, this but is more important. But we will always have our front doors open. We welcome all, including the media, to come and visit us.
Thank you. Mr. Gilder, one sentence.
Huawei is at the epicenter of the future of technology in the world. With how the United States and other countries react to this campaign against Huawei is kind of a Huawei test for people around the world. And if they don't pass it, it will signify that the world is taking a very destructive turn, anathematizing particular companies in the name of vague ideological objections. And so it's the Huawei test, and I hope the world meets it.
It's an interesting and important case study, I guess.
Yeah.
Mr. Negroponte.
Yeah, I guess I would end by saying in going through that test, I would not focus on security and backdoors and whether you're going to interact with the Chinese government if they can. But leave that out. And I think you should focus on the 100,000 papers you publish, the amount of research, and just make it known. Because I feel I'm a lone voice. I'm at a dinner party and I say, Huawei is a great company. And people say it is. It does. And then the world has to know how much you're doing in science and technology.
Well, I guess the media need to know too, in a way. Now our colleagues are sitting here. They all got informed, at least through this, a little bit. Mr. Ren, it's a coffee with Ren, so you have to speak first.
The
world relies on open collaboration for shared success.
That's it.
He gets an A+ as my student.
He did? For the very first test. And with that, we're wrapping up today's first coffee with Ren. We hope there will be many coffees to come in the future in which we can talk and interact and certainly be intellectually stimulating for one another.